For years, we've all known the score. It's iPhone versus Android. But what if I told you the next huge feature for your iPhone is actually going to be powered by its #1 rival? Well, today we're digging into the absolutely wild partnership between Apple and Google to finally give Siri the AI brain it so desperately needs.
All right, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at why Apple fell behind in the AI race. Then, the surprise rescue from a rival. We'll get into how Google's Gemini will actually work on your phone, tackle that big privacy question, and finally, explore what's next for Siri.
Okay, so let's get right into it. To really understand why this is happening, we first have to ask, how on earth did Apple, the company that's all about innovation, get so far behind in the AI game?
I mean, it's the question every single iPhone user has been thinking, right? You've seen other assistants get way smarter, more conversational, and Siri just felt kind of stuck. The short answer? Yeah, a big yes. And trust me, Apple knew it too.
You can really see the two different playbooks here. Apple was trying to do everything in-house, their own way, but it just wasn't fast enough, and they had to push a big Siri upgrade way out. A big part of this, to be fair, is Apple's whole privacy-first approach, which makes it harder to just vacuum up all the data you need to train these AIs. Meanwhile, you've got Google and Microsoft just pouring billions, with a B, into AI and pushing out new stuff like crazy. Apple was getting left in the dust.
And all of that sets the stage for one of the most shocking tech partnerships we have seen in, well, forever. It really seems like Apple took a look around and said, well, if you can't beat them, join them.
So behind closed doors, Apple had to face a tough reality. Their own homegrown efforts just weren't going to cut it, not with users expecting and getting these incredible AI features on other platforms. The pressure was on.
So they did something that pretty much made the entire tech world's jaw drop. Apple is officially turning to Google, its biggest competitor, to use their Gemini AI to power the next version of Siri. We're talking about a huge multi-year deal that's going to weave Google's tech deep into the iPhone experience.
And get this. This quote from Apple is wow. For Apple to admit out loud that a rival has the most capable foundation is just a massive, massive deal. It tells you everything you need to know about how serious this situation was for them.
So, what does this all actually mean for you when you're using your phone? How is an AI built for Android suddenly going to be answering your questions on an iPhone? Let's get into it.
To really grasp the kind of power Apple is plugging into, just think about this number, 7 billion. That's how many tokens. You can think of them as little pieces of words or information. Google's models are crunching every single minute just through their APIs. That is an engine built for an absolutely insane scale.
And it's not just about raw power. It's about being ready for prime time. The Gemini app already has 650 million people using it every month. So this isn't some experiment. This is a battle-tested system that knows how to handle a ton of requests from all over the world.
For you, the whole process is going to feel totally seamless. You'll just ask Siri a more complicated question, the kind of thing it really fumbles today. But behind the curtain, your request is going to get sent over to Google's super powerful Gemini system. It'll figure out a much smarter, more context-aware answer, and then send it right back for Siri to read to you. Simple as that. But, and this is a big but, plugging your rival's brain into your phone doesn't happen without some big questions, especially for a company like Apple, which has built its entire brand on protecting your privacy.
This is it. This is the billion-dollar question. For years, the Apple motto has been, what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. So what does it mean now that our voice requests are suddenly being shipped off to Google's servers?
Yeah, there are some serious trade-offs here. Apple is basically giving Google some level of control over how you interact with your phone. It's giving its biggest competitor a peek into some of its most important data. And it means Apple is now depending on another company for a future that's absolutely critical to its future. Now, of course, both companies are trying to get ahead of this. Google has publicly promised that this whole thing will be built to meet Apple's super high privacy standards. We don't have all the technical details yet, but they've definitely made the promise. All right, so let's talk about the future. When are you actually going to see this new and improved Siri on your phone, and what's it really going to be able to do?
Okay, here's the timeline as we know it right now. We expect the first new AI features for Siri to start showing up later this year, probably with iOS 18. Apple will almost certainly give us a big, detailed announcement in the next couple of months to lay it all out.
And at the end of the day, this is what it's all about.
The whole reason for this crazy, high-stakes partnership is to finally make Siri a real competitor again, to give it that deep contextual understanding that we've all been waiting for.
Which kind of leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is teaming up with your biggest enemy a stroke of pure genius, the only move Apple could make to save Siri? Or is it a deal with the devil that might trade away privacy for a spot back in the race? I guess we're all about to find out.